Scientific curiosities about winter. Why does the wind whistle? Why when it starts to snow is less cold? Find out about these and other curiosities about winter through the following gallery. Cionophobia. Cionophobia is the fear of snow, especially if one is trapped by snow. The term is derived from the Greek words chion and phobos, which mean snow and fear, respectively. It is one of the most curious phobias that exist. People suffering from cyrophobia fear the winter long before it starts, and they see the Weather Channel or consult the weather constantly to control when a snowstorm could fall. Its origin is usually due to a traumatic experience that has involved the presence of snow. The coldest people in the world. The municipality of Oymyakon, Russia, located in the east of Siberia, holds the record of the lowest temperature ever recorded in a place inhabited by man. This incredible temperature was -71.2 degrees Celsius. As recorded in the records, this record has been reached twice, on February 11, 1895 and then on January 10, 1982. Winter psychological effects. Science has found a link between winter and depression, especially in patients suffering from seasonal affective disorder. This could be attributed to several reasons, such as that the decrease in sunlight can disrupt the body's internal clock, leading to feelings of depression, or that the change of season can disrupt the balance of melatonin levels in the body, which plays a key role in sleep patterns and mood, say experts at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, USA. As a surprising fact, a recent study published in the journal Behavioral and Brain Sciences concluded that violent thoughts tend to decrease during the winter, as the levels of violence and aggression are higher in hot climates. Physical effects of the winter. The seasons represent a powerful force in our lives, and when the winter arrives, just like when the summer happens, nobody goes unnoticed. The climate can have a profound impact on our health and our well-being. And science has discovered that it can affect a large number of aspects, from creativity to our susceptibility to developing migraines. Thus, in a 2015 study published in the Journal of Headache and Pain, the researchers asked 66 patients to provide daily headache reports for several months, finding that temperature-sensitive patients experienced significantly more pain in winter compared to other seasons. The hypothesis is that these headaches may be related to blood vessels and circulatory changes, which cold weather could aggravate. The Great Vision of the RENOS. Some reindeer that live in the polar circle live in complete darkness during several weeks of the year. To adapt to this dark situation, a small area of tissue behind the retina called tapetum lucidum changes color. A golden in the summer months and a blue in the winter, which allows the eyes of the reindeer to detect ultraviolet light and see in the dark. The human eye does not have this quality, but many mammals like dogs, bats or horses. Effects of winter on sex. The arrival of winter is accompanied by a lower probability of sexual desire. Why do we have less desire for sex? Basically because the production of testosterone hormones decreases from November to April in the northern hemisphere, and then rises steadily from spring and summer, with a remarkable peak in October. It is for this reason that reproduction rates increase with the month of June. It is the month with the highest conception rate. In addition, a study conducted by the University of Tasmania, Australia, suggested that the patterns of hibernation of our ancestors are the culprits of the fall of the libido. Hibernation slowed their metabolism and the sexual impulses decreased, as they increased their caloric load and slept more, explained Margaret Austin, co-author of the study. Why when snow does much less cold? We notice it every time it snows. We have that feeling that, although slightly, the atmosphere seems more pleasant when it is snowing. Why? Science explains it to us. It turns out that the snowflakes, formed by ice crystals, trap water vapor as they fall. That vapor ends up in ice, but of course, the passage from the gaseous state as water vapor to the solid state like ice releases heat. Thus, each time it snows there is a significant release of heat into the atmosphere. Hypothermia. Cold winters can cause life-threatening medical conditions, such as hypothermia. Hypothermia occurs when a person's body temperature falls below 35 degrees Celsius, according to the Mayo Clinic. Low temperatures and thermal sensation can make a person's body temperature decrease in just a few minutes. Low temperatures can also cause frostbite, skin and tissues. To avoid hypothermia and frostbite, it is important to keep all skin covered and dry during cold weather. Before hypothermia or frostbite, the first thing to do is to warm the patient to increase their body temperature. Curiosities about snowflakes. All snowflakes have 6 sides. They are symmetrical, transparent and reflect light as if it were a luxury jewel. According to Guinness World Records, on January 28, 1887, a snowflake 38 centimeters wide and 20 centimeters thick fell into Fort Keogh, Montana, making it the largest snowflake ever observed. The average snowflake falls at approximately 4.8 kilometers per hour. A single snowstorm can shed 39 million tons of snow. The dark of the winter. In winter we have much fewer hours of sun. This means that we receive less amount of sunlight compared to other months and our skin produces less vitamin D accordingly. And we already know that vitamin D is very important in the defenses of our body, as it is involved in immune function, in the growth of cells and bones and in the absorption of calcium from the body, among other things. Winter increases creativity. Feeling cold or hot can bring out different types of creativity. Thus, in a 2014 study published in Acta Psychologica, researchers found that people who were given a hot therapeutic pad, a hot cup of tea or who were in a room with a rather high temperature, were better at creative drawing, categorizing objects and thinking of gift ideas for other people. On the other hand, those who were experiencing cold were better at identifying metaphors, at devising new names and at planning abstract gift ideas. Researchers hypothesize that heat helps people feel psychologically connected and more generous to others, while cold can stimulate more abstract creativity, since people tend to feel alienated from others. Sometimes snow where less you expect. You would not be surprised to see snow on the ground in Siberia, Russia, or even in Minnesota County, USA, when you travel to these places during the winter months. But these locations do not have a monopoly of snowfalls. Snow can touch from the Sahara Desert to Hawaii. Even the driest place on Earth is not immune. In 2011, the Atacama Desert in Chile, for example, received almost 82 centimeters of snow thanks to a rare cold front in Antarctica. How many water is in the snow? The exact amount of water contained in the snow can vary significantly depending on how the snow was formed, but on average, 12 centimeters of snow would provide 1 centimeter of water. Why are the nights without clouds in winter so cold? The clouds have an incredible influence on the Earth's climate. Because they are formed by a thick layer of water vapor, cloud masses become sunscreens that reflect much of the energy coming from the sun into outer space. That is, clouds make it difficult for the heat received during the day it dissipates during the night, so on cloudless days, the temperatures fall formidably favoring frost. The animals in winter. Winter brings many changes to the world around you. During the winter, some animals migrate, which means moving to another area for a season. In general, animals go south to warmer areas. The movement of the species also has to do with the changes in the habitat. Migration is not just about staying warm, as some animals are forced to abandon their normal habitat due to changes in their food supply and the introduction of new bacteria or viruses, due to climate change, where they have little resistance. Other animals begin a period of hibernation during the winter, spending most of the season almost asleep. In addition to changing their locations and habits, some animals can also change their appearance. Animals such as hares and foxes can change their coloration to mix better in snowy landscapes or even get a thicker coat to maintain a warmer body temperature. The calculation of thermal sensation. How is the thermal sensation calculated? The cold or heat we feel regardless of the actual temperature is what we call thermal sensation and is determined by the humidity, the speed and direction of the wind, the cloudiness, in relation to the thermal difference between the skin and the combination of temperature and wind. Thus, for example, if the thermometer shows 10 degrees Celsius, the sky is clear and there is hardly any wind, it is likely that our thermal sensation will be 7.5 degrees Celsius. The whistle of the wind. Why do we hear that kind of whistling when it's windy? Not only can it happen in winter. The key is when the wind blows with great intensity. This force makes that, in the case of finding an obstacle in its path, the area of passage of air in motion narrows and accelerates, causing this particular sibilant sound. Whether it is the crack of a door or a blind, the wind will sneak through its small holes and produce this sound. In winter, more germs are propagated. The more people around us are sick, the more likely we are to become infected. Many times we often cough or sneeze without being careful where we do it, and we do not have the precaution to wash our hands afterwards. This makes the germs expelled during coughing or sneezing can live quietly on surfaces such as door handles, desks, coffee makers, for 2 hours or even more. The lowest registered temperature. Antarctica currently has the lowest recorded temperature. On August 10, 2010, scientists recorded a temperature of -93.2 degrees Celsius, in the Antarctic East Antarctic Plateau, according to NASA. The Soviet research station of Vostok in Antarctica also recorded a very low temperature on July 21, 1983, -89 degrees Celsius. At Prospect Creek, in Alaska, the record was established on January 23, 1971 with -62 degrees Celsius. Consequences of the cold for health. It is colder and, among other things, the cold is one of the causes of rhinovirus spreading, responsible for the common cold or the common cold, as many studies have already shown that viruses that cause colds in humans are replicated much more easily in the coolest environments. The Earth is closer to the Sun in winter. We have discussed it at the beginning. In the Northern Hemisphere, the Earth is closer to the Sun during winter. Near January 3, the Earth reaches perihelion, being almost 5 million kilometers closer to the Sun than in aphelion. When is it farthest from the Sun? Around July 5. The fact that the Earth moves about 1 kilometer per second faster in the perihelion than in the aphelion, makes the winter 5 days shorter than the summer. Snow records. The city of Aomori in Japan is the city that supports more snowfall than any other on the planet. As a curiosity, on February 21, 2013, Japan's official weather station registered the highest snowfall according to historical records dating back to 1977.